My phone overheated. So my point being is, don't be reactive. That's number one. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't go and dig into the metrics, the analytics, every dollar being spent, and make sure that it's being spent to the utmost efficiency. I'm not saying that. Absolutely, you should be doing that. But you should be doing that anyway, regardless of what's going on in the climate, so that when you get into a climate like it is right now for auto sales, that it's not such a reactive panic mode type of thing. Part two, what are you doing inside the store to improve your sales close rate? What is your sales close rate? If your sales close rate is anything below a 15%, then you need to have a conversation with your sales team. Period. I see that happen a lot of times where I'll have a store, when I ask that question, I had a store the other day that told me that the general manager told me he didn't know what his close rate was on his internet leads, which I found absolutely shocking, but that's beside the point. Anyway, know what your close rate is on your internet leads. Know what your close rate is on your phone ups. Know what your close rate is on your walk-in traffic. For your internet leads, if you're anything below 15%, you have another problem. Now, we all got nice, fat, and happy up through even 2024, early 2024, when inventory was still kind of not steady. We were all riding that COVID wave where we could grow, we charge the utmost in gross on a lot of these vehicles. And now we have to get back to selling. We have to get up to actually making an effort to sell a car and not just passively trying to sell a car. And the other part of that equation is what I just mentioned about COVID. A lot of the COVID purchases that people made, we grossed the crap out of them. And so a lot of them are buried in those cars. We can't necessarily get them out right now. And we're doing 84, 96-month loans, so we just extended the trade-in cycle. So what we're dealing with right now is pretty much a perfect storm of shit that we're going to have to navigate our way out of, like we all did in 2008 when everything fell through the floor. I remember working in a dealership where the whole dealership didn't sell a car for 3 days. I remember that. So I implore you to not be reactive and instead double down on the people you do have. Double down on the vendors you do have. Without ripping the Band-Aid off and making violent changes to everything, I really, really strongly encourage you to retrain your people, to work with your vendors and trying to get super specific and surgical on your campaigns. If you have a tool like we do with Pure Insights, we have at Pure Cars, we have a tool called Pure Insights, and I can see specifically what markets are selling what types of cars, and then I can focus my campaigns as such. If I know, and I did this for a Kia store not too long ago, we had run a Palisade campaign about 7 or 8 months ago. It didn't do much of anything, didn't really result in more sales. So what I did instead is I actually dug into Pure Insights. I found where Palisades and large SUVs were being sold, not only from Kia, but from other makes and manufacturers, and we started a Palisade campaign into those specific zip codes. Guess what they're doing now? They're selling Palisades. So I would strongly recommend, or Tellurides, not Palisades, sorry, Tellurides. So I would strongly recommend that you dig into the metrics, dig into the numbers, understand tools like Pure Insights. Hopefully you already have, so that you can have those kind of educated conversations on where there is opportunity to be fleshed out. But if you're going to be reactive, if you're going to be that dealership that is just fire everybody and everything because we're not selling cars for this month and we didn't sell cars too much last month, instead of ripping the Band-Aid off with your vendors, I strongly implore you, look at your close rates, look at your people. Don't just assume they're buttoned up. Go look at the metrics. People lie, metrics don't. Data never lies to you. So I strongly encourage you to look to go down that rabbit hole first before you make any violent changes to any of your advertising, especially right now. With Google, consistency is the key. Anytime you stop and start advertising, you're putting yourselves into a 90-day learning phase. We're in selling season right now. This is as good as it's going to get this year. I know that's scary for some of us, but that's the truth for 99% of our stores. This is selling season. So I would strongly encourage you not to make any violent changes on anything right now, and instead work with your vendor partners and make your campaigns work for you. That's all I got for this week. Happy selling.